Welcome to the Business Powerhouse by the Entrepreneur in collaboration with the Chartered Institute of Management Accounting. Today we have none other than Dr. Desh Beshan Kulapala, the director of Vega Innovations and also a research scientist with Cogen International, who have been developing automobile technology for around 7 years. How are you doing, Doctor?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Let's get right to it. So, with over 2 decades in the industry, you bring your expertise from Intel Corporation, who we know is a leader in technology advancement worldwide. So, in your opinion, where is Sri Lanka falling back or lacking? And if we do take the corrective action, where do you see us going?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me. I worked at Intel Corporation for about 9 years. When I left, I was an engineering manager focused on server and desktop and laptop CPUs. So, from my experience, there Intel has a long-term vision as to how they want to capture the market. A lot of money on the research and development to ensure that they have enough technology and innovation to keep up with the market. And Intel is considered to be one of the giants in technology, but also a whale, kind of a large ship that is not so nimble, not so flexible. Companies like Nvidia and AMD, they have shown that they can be small, but yet be able to produce new innovations very much more faster than what Intel could. Samsung is a very good example. If you take Samsung, for example, they would come up with a new chip every 6 months or so, where Intel would take about 2 years. That was huge. So I mean, there are good learnings to have, and then also the bad learnings I supposed to have from Intel. When the market is slow, when the economies are not at the peak, what Intel does is to focus on R&D, so that during the downtime they kind of push and get faster technology out there. So when the market catches up, they can overtake the other competitors. And I think that is an important lesson, because in Sri Lanka, I feel it's the other way around. When the market is slow, there's hardly any dollars spent on R&D. So when the market picks up, you still don't have a solution to kind of capture the market. And I think that's a important thing to understand. Second, I think Intel is very focused on capturing the market, and technology kind of comes behind the marketing part of it. So there's a lot of work done to find out what people need 3 years from today, so that technology that the R&D can be done in time. Whereas in Sri Lanka, at least from my experience here, even through Vega, what we are doing is catching up. We are always trying to develop the technology to get to where other people have already gone. So we need to kind of fast pace it to speed up, so that we can be ahead of the curve. I think those are some of the learnings that I can think of.
All right. So what you're talking about ideally is rather you see Sri Lanka as being sort of reactive, while what the market needs is to be proactive, to be able to find out what the customer wants before they want it, and then first to be able to develop it and then be able to give it to them. Right? Yes, that does make a lot of sense, as well as it's very interesting. That's why marketing is not just about sales, because a lot of people think marketing is about sales, but it's rather about finding out what the customer wants and then being able to develop a product for that. So definitely, hopefully, Sri Lanka can amend its ways and move in that way. Also,
Absolutely.
in the recent time, you continue taking the local technology to a world level by not just producing any electric car, an electric supercar. Can you tell us what's coming up next and what we can expect in the near future, maybe?
Yeah. I think the electric supercar that we built, the Vega EVX, is a testament to what Sri Lankan youth can do together. I think we put this team together who had no prior automobile engineering experience. They were fresh graduates from most universities from Sri Lanka. Some even don't
Yeah.
have degrees.
Okay.
And we were able to come up with these novel technologies that we did a lot of research online, YouTube research papers, everything's online these
Yeah.
days. So you can pick up on new technologies and push it forward. But having said that, Vega EVX is just one of our products. On the automobile
Okay.
side, we are going to be manufacturing a electric three-wheeler called ETX. It's a platform called
Yes.
ETX. We will go into manufacturing middle of next year. The electric three-wheel market
Wow.
in 2025 is a $35 billion market,
Wow.
mostly in the African, South Asian, and Southeast Asian region.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Sri Lanka is a market for us, of course, but we are
True.
looking at the global market, because even if you capture 1% of that, that's still a huge business that would be be
Definitely.
able to move a lot of foreign currency back into the country. So we
Yeah.
are focused on that. It's something that we can do without a investor on board. So that's why we kind
Okay.
of chose easier to manufacture vehicles.
Yeah.
Um, and from the automobile side, that is what is coming. But also we have another startup called ChargeNet, electric
Okay.
vehicle charging manufacturer that we've been
Right.
manufacturing for the last 6 years now. And we are proud to say that we have started installing chargers in India, and with an Indian partner. Now we are looking at manufacturing in India also,
All
to
right.
kind of face it and get it across the country. India, interestingly, is it's a massive country. Any business opportunity
Definitely.
there is now in the billion-dollar ranges. So even
Okay.
if you penetrate India by a slight margin, that is still a big opportunity. And I think we Sri Lankans need to look at India more positively, because
Okay.
take an example, Mexico and the US. US is a large
Yes.
economy, a first world country. Mexico,
Yeah.
has its own struggles, but Mexico is focused on producing technology, producing products and services for the US and for Canada. And
Yeah.
that is a huge revenue generator for them. So we should look at that kind of opportunities with India as well. We have this giant, neighbor that is in the multi-billion-dollar economy. We had
True.
the IFTA trade agreement that can move products and services back and forth from India, duty free. So
True.
people should look at India more closely, and I think ChargeNet would be one of those companies that might be a good example to follow. I know Damro has penetrated the Indian market with manufacturing there, so we look at them closely
Yes.
as well. So those are the things that we're coming. We are really focused on this, regional aspects as well as Africa, because those are
Yeah.
easier to penetrate. And with the resources that we have, we feel that it's a easier win for us rather than going into the more difficult European Union or the US kind of market.
True. 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 That's fabulous. Congratulations on all those great things you all are doing. It was when I saw the advertisement for the electric three wheel as well. It was just fantastic. Something that we have not seen before. Again, with innovation. Innovation is leading everything right now. Congratulations on getting into ChargeNet, which is the Indian market, and also I totally agree with you with regards to the Indian market, because there it's basically numbers, right? Even if you do make a smaller margin per unit, when it comes, you get your economies of scale as well as you get numbers, and that alone builds it up to great things. So what led you to break into the India market, rather? How was it made possible?
I think, with ChargeNet, we were not focused on low-cost EV chargers. Even in Sri
Okay.
Lanka, you can bring in a Chinese charger for much less.
Okay.
People have, installed many Chinese chargers, and they are not able to cope with the dust, the humidity, the kind of the environment that is in Sri Lanka, and then it would be the same for India as well. So we
True.
were looking at a more value-added product range, because to be honest,
All right.
one of your questions was to see how to compete with countries like China, and you can't. Their
True.
cost of materials are much lower, their resources are there, they have larger factories, their volumes are higher. Every indication is that they can manufacture anything for much cheaper. If you take basic economics,
Yeah.
they can do it for sure. But what they don't have is our expertise and technology that we can provide in terms of software, in terms of firmware, in terms of smartness to electronics, which
Okay.
is not something that is manufactured in a factory. It is, it's more in
True.
that kind of realm. So, we are focused on that, adding more AI-based technologies into already existing hardware so that you have a much larger value addition for the customer. So from that end, even though our cost of manufacturing is higher, we can provide
Yeah.
much better products and services that people will want to pay more to purchase. And this is what
True.
we have
True.
focused on in Sri Lanka. And now we are the #1 EV charging manufacturer and service provider in the country. We have over
Congratulations.
chargers, including the fast chargers and slow chargers and whatnot. And
Yeah.
solution, the value addition is we have a mobile app that has payment gateways integrated. You can turn
Okay.
the charge on and off with the mobile app, so you don't need to necessarily carry smart cards or whatever. We do
All
have
right.
smart capability also, but then
Right.
we are able to do remote monitoring, remote debug, and service scheduling all through our platform. So anybody who wants to get into EV charging, who wants to have a network in their own countries,
All right.
ours is a turnkey solution. You don't have to go behind 100 people to kind of set up a solution for you. So that's
All
our
right.
butter. And with that solution, there is really no player in India that can kind of compete with us one-to-one.
Okay.
Of course, there
All
are
right.
solutions and UK and US solutions, but those are more
Yeah.
expensive. And those companies are not flexible and nimble enough to kind of get join up with a smaller company. Whereas
All
our
right.
Indian partner and us, a
Yeah.
software change, UI change, language changes, those
All
are
right.
just one email away, and we are very nimble. We integrate well with them. So anybody who
Right.
wants to kind of join with us, it's a very, a simple model that we provide. And this is one reason why we were able to, penetrate into the Indian market.
Wow, that's just fantastic. So basically, what you all are capitalizing off is a differentiated product rather than something you see on the market. You all are able to cater to their demand and whatever changes they have as well. And that's basically, I think, the future. You can't stick to one model for everything. It has to
Right.
be different across what the needs are, what the customer needs, and so on. It's great to see you all doing that. So also, I believe among the other innovations, you have also created a low-cost ventilator, and all this is coming from tech innovations come basically from sustainability, efficiency, and the cost factor. How would you define profitability with low cost and the latest technology? Because that's a very hard balance to strike.
Yeah. I mean, we've been very focused on all of our product ranges to kind of go around this sustainability kind of solution sphere. Now, with global warming, with some of the global regulations on carbon reduction, there's a lot of opportunity for EV-based companies or solar-based companies to work with even European Union countries now, because for them
True.
the cost of reducing their carbon footprint is a very high value addition for them. So they want to work with
Sure.
other partners who can help with that. So, one of the things that you didn't mention was the agriculture technology we have. We are
Yeah.
one of the leading agriculture technology providers in the country, not just putting up greenhouses, but
True.
putting up automated technologies for agriculture. So all of that kind of binds together where we have solar inverters, solar panels, powering up your e-mobility side, powering up your
True.
agriculture farms, so that you kind of draw a circle around our technologies. And when you have a cohesive system like that, then your cost of material is not the biggest problem. You have a
Okay.
much more value addition that you can provide to your customers, because you just don't want to buy a solar inverter anymore. You want to buy a solution or an experience that will provide power when there is a blackout. That will reduce the cost of electricity and provide a solution where you could have safe foods to eat and all of that. So
True.
people are looking for experiences, people are looking for solutions and not just products. So when you focus on the value addition part for the solution space, then I think you have a good
Yes.
way to compete with others.
Great. Yes, it is. So it's basically the whole package rather than looking at one side of it, looking at the package as a whole. Very interesting what you said about it being a cohesive package, where when you look at it as a cohesive package, it's not product, it's not rather the cost of goods that is a major cost. Now this market, is it's up and coming market rather, and with there being a fewer players, there has been the cost has been a bit higher. Do you see that changing in the any time in the future?
For the e-mobility side, you
Yes.
mean? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I think if you look at the e-mobility startups that are happening around the world, there are so many startups, and I think uh, it's interesting to watch how they perform, and Vega being one of those. But if you
Yes.
followed this new company called it's not new, but this company called Rivian, which is also a startup manufacturing electric
Yes.
vehicle pickup trucks. They recently went through an IPO process. Now they are valued at about
Okay.
$180 billion, right? So it's just
Wow.
amazing. I mean, they are valued more than Ford, more than Toyota, right?
Yeah.
These companies that have been there for the last 100 or so years have sold millions of vehicles are suddenly
True.
much less worth than this Rivian company who maybe have built 100 pickups already. It's just mind-boggling as to how investors are looking at these companies to see the potential. So with any startup, there'll be some startups who will fail. Some will make it through. Some who will make it to the billion-dollar ranges. So we want to be somewhere in the middle of that. And I think if you think about it, there'll be a lot of companies who will merge as well. Some of the big giants like you look at Bugatti.
Yeah.
Bugatti is now owned by this Croatian startup Rimac. Rimac started about 8 years ago with about 25 engineers. They got funded through Porsche and Hyundai, I believe, and
Yeah.
now they control the majority of Bugatti. Unbelievable. I mean, the EV industry is moving very quickly. There'll be a lot of winners and losers, and I think
True.
everybody needs to kind of jump in on this because it's an ideal case for Sri Lanka where you can't really compete with manufacturing engines or some of the
True.
old,
Definitely.
but if you have $1 billion company in EV
True.
industry, that could be the savior for all of these foreign currency issues that we are having. So I think everybody talk. I don't want to digress, but everybody talks about, this foreign currency crisis that we have. Nobody talks about solutions. Nobody talks about,
True.
what we need to do. Some people say that we need to go to the IMF, but still they don't even know, what that really means.
True.
It's not IMF will give you a loan and then be like, you do whatever you want kind of a thing. So we need
Exactly.
things to kind of win markets and bring dollars in. And I think authorities need to look at these things more closely.
Definitely, we do have to do something different. And the EV industry, I would say, is from what I have seen, from what we have seen as Sri Lanka, and with Vega heading it, it is taking us places. Hopefully, it does go. It does go into those the highest of places. So with all that, also now we have seen that you and with Sri Lanka has been able to provide technology at the highest level, the tech solutions at the highest level. But what are the challenges of converting that into the production or manufacturing it right here in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, interestingly, we have been looking at this, for some of our manufacturing as well. The biggest problem is the cost of materials, and material costs are going up at a rapid pace right now, especially with this economic crisis. So it's very difficult to cost our products. You can't give a quotation for 3 months anymore because cost of materials are going through the roof. So there should be ways for these export-oriented manufacturers to have some safety net in terms of cost margins, or some sort of way to have limits as to how they are taxed and things like that. Tax policy itself is not geared for manufacturing here. It's mostly geared for services oriented and agriculture oriented. Manufacturing is like a secondary thing in this country. So when you bring in items that you want to manufacture, value add, manufacture and export, you're getting taxed, and this is not a good way to kind of create a manufacturing sector in the country. And I think we have been pushing various governments to correct these, but there's already some some problem that they don't kind of do it for many reasons. I don't know why. So manufacturers need to get together more to kind of push these arguments to move the policies. And I think having a workforce that has enough knowledge and capabilities also one of the major issues. People talk about the youth being focused on three-wheelers and not on these other value-added sectors, but I think it's unfair to just blame the three-wheel drivers on this, because it's an open market. Capitalism is in operation at in some length, and if they can make a more better living from three-wheelers, then you can't really blame them and say you should not be driving three-wheelers. It's just that their living conditions are not met when they work at a factory. And I think big companies and manufacturing owners need to understand that and do better at providing them better pay or services, working environment. So all of these things matter, and trying to balance all of that is important.
Agreed. Hopefully, at least within maybe next year, let's say mid next year, they'll have cheaper three-wheelers with ETX coming into play, where they'll be able to get cheaper three-wheelers at a cheaper running cost as well. So at least that will be some sort of thing. Actually, my next question was with regards to our finance sector, how you would redo it. But since you already answered that question for me, something else that I thought of there, you're talking about the youth and about them driving three wheels. You have those sectors that are doing that. Then I also believe that there is a sector which is in the brain drain, where people are trying to migrate to leave the country, and I see that as an issue for the future. What do you think that the government has to do different to convince the youth to stay here and to help build the country up and take it to the next level?
Before I answer that question, I want to say one thing about the financial aspects of things. I
Yeah.
think uh, startups, especially tech startups, have
Yeah.
a huge problem of finding funding. And
Okay.
a lot of good ideas don't go anywhere because there's not enough venture capital coming in. There are not enough investors looking at tech startups. Now, if somebody
Okay.
builds a hotel or has a piece of land, hundreds of
Yeah.
millionaires in Sri Lanka
True.
would jump
True.
in and invest on it. But you have these amazing startups that have taken a lot of time to build technologies, and nobody nobody wants to pump money into it. And I think some of the responsibility then goes to the rich people in this country who have benefited from many projects and aspects and things like that. They have the responsibility to take risks and invest on tech startups also, because those are the companies that could be the billion-dollar answer to
Definitely.
problems. And I think that's very important. To answer your question on brain drain, I think it's a very sad situation right now. It concerns me a lot. I heard a number like 52% of graduates in this country are looking to migrate because they don't see enough potential, for their futures. And I think, I mean, I don't want to blame them because everybody has their priorities. It's not easy to say that everybody should stay in the country and do it when they have mortgaged their houses. Parents have taken on debt to kind of fund their education, so that has to be covered somehow. But I think everybody who had free education from this country has certain responsibility to ensure that you give back and make sure that we kind of pull ourselves out of this hole that we have dug into. Uh, and
True.
and
Definitely.
so it's important to stay positive. And I think if you look at what the government is doing, they are not touching on any of the aspects that young people are concerned about, right? Freelancers, people who do individual work. They want
Yeah.
PayPal. They digital systems to move currency from their clients into their accounts. And if the country can't figure out how to do PayPal, when about 99% of other countries have figured this out. What are we joking
True.
about? It just amazes me. And I think, you know, uh, so I think, opening up the country for individuals, young individuals to, start businesses, to earn money, to move money around is very important. And also giving them, opportunity, having some kind of incentive for them to get into higher education, to get into vocational training. Those have to be focused
True.
on, because we need to make sure that they have the skills and the necessary tools to kind of uplift themselves. And if you look at a lot of the industries out there in Sri Lanka, let's say, some of the classic ones like brass industry,
Yeah.
the leather stuff, um, they have not really, even batik, right? They
Yeah.
still use very old technology. It's a lot of hands-on. They build the same thing that has been built, that their parents and grandparents have manufactured,
True.
but it's not capturing the world needs. So the ministries, the authorities, even themselves privately
Yeah.
need to understand what the world wants. Look at countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, who have
True.
kind of moved those products to the 21st century and capturing world markets. And I think those niche markets where you do hand built stuff
Yeah.
is selling at $100-200 per product, whereas our the same old thing is sold at $10 per product. So I think
True.
those kind of changes need to happen to kind of lift our country up.
True. Definitely. It's a lot of food for thought where basically there are people who need the funding and the advice of, because Sri Lanka actually has a lot to offer in terms of specialization in differentiation, and there some of it the world has not seen out there, and there's actually so much more potential if we go down, to the, not to the grassroots level, but to the level where it's being done, handmade is also something that has a lot of potential. And
Right. Right.
especially like you said, going the 10 to $100, that jump is something I hope that Sri Lanka can make in the near future, because that would bring in all, USD currencies. It will solve a lot of issues, as well
Right.
as there will be a sense of accomplishment as well as the people in the country, so that people would rather stay here than go out. Because whatever said and done, we are born in Sri Lanka, and we have that inside ourselves that we want to see our mother country go.
I think marketing plays a major role in this. Not
Definitely.
just the sales side again, but looking at the
Yeah.
market, looking at what product should be.
True.
Designers play a huge role in this, to draw out
True.
new designs, to give that their creative expertise into this, so that the traditional manufacturers know what to do. Because those manufacturers,
True.
they don't know what.
Definitely.
They build the same cane chair that they've been building for the last 20 years. They
True.
need a different design that comes from marketing and saying, hey, if you do this, I can sell you
Yeah.
100 units in the US. So
True.
this kind of supply chain or a set of expertise need to come together to help on this.
They need a guidance rather for it to go forward. And like even the social media is being used in large amounts to get people to come to the country, and that is something which I think Sri Lanka has a lot to improve on as well. So yes, thank you for that. Where I said marketing, it's not just about getting the product out, but it's about convincing people that they need the product, not that they want the product, but rather they need the product. So hopefully that is something that we can do. With post COVID, we have seen a lot of startups, lot of entrepreneurs out there. Many tech startups as well, who are ready to compete on this national level and hopefully take it to the global level as well. What are your tips, or what's your advice towards them on how to get about it, how to get to the next level? And even you mentioned about having struggles with funding. What is the advice you have for our viewers with regards to that?
Yeah, when I have these conversations with some of these youth teams who have built amazing technologies, one thing that we need to focus on is the the appearance of it, not
Okay.
just the user interface, but even simple things like what the graphics look like, what the logos look like.
True.
When you go to the help page, how does help work? What kind of promotional videos do you have? All those things matter. I think there have been technologies built by our youngsters that are one to one. It matches with some other $1 million technology out there, but the only
Yeah.
difference is you visualize it. It's not the underlying
Okay.
technology that is the problem, but the
All right.
visual aspect of looking at one versus the other. And I think again, marketing is key, because when you want to install an app, when you go through the Play Store, you have a
Yeah.
very small icon and a small tag of text that will
True.
convince you that this second link is the one to install, not the first one, right? It's a very it's a
True.
very small window that you have, so you need to spend
Yeah.
a lot of time on that. And I think even at Vega, even through ChargeNet, we spend a lot of time on how it looks. We
Right.
don't want our products to look like they were manufactured in Sri Lanka. We want them to
Right.
look like they were manufactured in Germany. The box that it
True.
comes, we want it to look like you just got a Samsung phone, something like that,
True.
where everything falls on these things. So I think when engineers kind of get into products, they kind of lose sight
Yeah.
of the visual aspect, the design aspect.
All right.
So I
Okay.
urge groups to kind of get people together that are in different spheres. Get people from
True.
marketing, people from sales or finance
True.
background, get people from the design background, get people who has the ability to do presentations and do demos more um, properly, for the lack of a
Yeah.
word, so that you have a good team together. if you just have engineers or technologists working on something, you're going to miss out. You're not going to be able to put up a proposal for an investor to get funding. I think those
True,
are key
true.
problems. Even for me, there have been days where I struggled to find a template as to a proposal to write.
Oh,
We in Sri Lanka, we hardly find templates or documents that can help us to understand what a investor proposal should look like. I think
oh, right.
organizations like y'all could even help on this front, where you have a set of
True.
templates that people can download and change to match, because then it makes
Definitely.
the process more easier. I think those are important things.
True, definitely. That is something that we should ideally look at. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we are looking at as well. And yes, I think it's mainly, for consumers, it's about the psychological impact, because it's always the first look is the most important, because that's where I think we, like you mentioned, everyone has to come together, where it's from diverse backgrounds to come with one goal, where you unify, and as you said before, a cohesive network like that, a cohesive team as well, where they can give different ideas. It's not just about the what's underneath, but it's also about the graphics, the UI, everything as a whole, the package as a whole. Right. Thank you, Beshan, for your time. It's been a very informative session where I have learned a lot, as well as I'm sure the interviews have learned a lot. So, on behalf of the entrepreneur and on behalf of Chartered Institute of Management of Accounting, thanks a lot for your time. And I wish you, from the bottom of my heart, all the best for Vega Innovations. Hopefully, we see it on getting bigger and bigger, and all the best with the electric three wheel as well.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Thanks a lot.